welcome to the week 2 edition of Zooch and Wilde. Wait, that's not Zooch.
That is not.
That's not Zooch.
No,
That's not
I'm going
Zooch.
into
That is
food.
Sean. That is Sean. No, we are excited. This is Friday before week 2 of the
Mhm.
2024 college football season. And
Yeah.
wow, we are excited. So Sean and I are especially excited
Yep.
because we are going to have Zooch and Wild settle down, boots on the ground in Eugene,
Mhm.
Oregon on Saturday.
Yep.
Sean, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a
Yeah.
very, very fun time.
I'm
It's
really
going to be fun.
excited because I feel like as you guys are listening to this on Friday, we're me and Cody and Riley are in the car driving to Eugene, Oregon at the moment. So we are very excited. Also just to see all the boys again, to kind of like hang out at
Mhm.
a football game. I feel like it's been a little over a year now since we've all kind of probably longer than that since we've all been at a game together. So it'll be a lot of fun, but I don't know about you, but I'm pretty nervous for this game
Yeah,
on
no,
multiple levels. We'll talk about
yeah,
it.
so we'll talk more about it because that is not only we can finally, for the first time in like 2 years, talk about a Boise State game in a non-homer way. That's like an
Yeah.
actual like national media
Yeah.
attention game, which has
Yep.
been great. But week 1 excitement, Sean, it really had it all. I don't know about you, but I did the classic iced coffee in the morning and I watched college football from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yep.
My shoulders hurt so bad when I got up from that couch. And I know for non-college football fans, I think NFL fans know the feeling themselves because of the
Yeah.
full day of football watching, just what that constitutes. I don't know how to explain to people that don't watch college football or football that like sitting on a couch takes a toll on your body. And I know what I just said is like the biggest loser statement, but I know you and a lot of our listeners, whoever might be watching this clip, people can resonate with that. Like it truly is. It takes a lot of effort to watch to sit on your ass and watch college football all day. I know
It does.
other, yeah, I know Barstool Big Cat is a big proponent of that. It's like
Mhm.
takes a it's a talent being able to watch
It
this.
is.
And again,
Yeah.
I know I just sound like the biggest dork, loser, lazy bones in the world at the
Yeah.
same
Hey,
time.
we get to what's beautiful about college football is that we get to do that. Just sit on the couch. I enjoyed a nice Black Rock coffee as well. Walked over there in the morning. Boise State had a 2 p.m. game, so me and Cody walked over to what's called. Actually, we walked over to End Zone. End Zone was packed. We couldn't get a drink, so we walked over to Suds and watched the game there. But we had the. This is like I was so pissed about this. ESPN fumbled the bag
Oh my
again.
gosh. Yes, before we talk about any of the games,
Yeah,
Sean, I know me and you were
ESPN.
texting back and forth.
It's
It
just
was we were watching bocce ball highlights, and what I know this won't pick up a lot of traction because yes, it was Boise State, Georgia Southern. Yes, it was on ESPNU, but still, like
still
just imagine all of that excitement building up 9 months, and then you
week
just
one.
miss probably 6 minutes or 5 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like the first, we missed a 77-yard Ashton Genty touchdown run. Who,
Yes.
Sean, is this a good transition
Yep.
into who were the biggest winners, in your opinion, of week
Week
1?
one. Yeah, my number
Players,
one.
coaches.
Yeah, the first person I wrote down was Ashton Genty. Bit of a homer pick there. Obviously, it was the main game I watched on Saturday.
Mhm.
Um, and watching him, I feel like we've had our eye on him the past 2 seasons, really. Like, we know he's a great running back, and I think the whole nation now realized who the hell he is. Getting six
Yeah.
touchdowns is no feat. And even if some of those touchdowns were close within the 5 yard line, he still
It's
got them
still
down the field.
the
He got them down
yardage
the
speaks
field.
for itself, and
Yeah.
the crazy thing was for me the yards per carry. It was over 5 yards per carry. I don't know the
Yeah.
exact number, but it wasn't just we're gonna hand him the ball 40 times and he's gonna rack up those numbers. It's like oh no, he was being
Yep.
efficient, so
Mhm.
efficient in fact that his backup had 100 yards. So I mean
Yes.
breaking a school record that's been there since Cedric Minter, which I want to say is 80s or 70s.
Mhm.
I know some smart is going to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Please do. But it stood for a while, and Ashton Genty, it's ridiculous how much, and this is why I love the 12-team playoff. Because if there's no 12-team playoff, I don't think the country's talking about this.
No.
I really don't. I think because of the 12-team playoff, people realize, oh my gosh, this guy could carry a team that we could watch play our big schools later on in the playoff. That's why you're
Yeah.
seeing him on. I on the ESPN draft, the week one projections. He's drafted. I mean, he's predicted a first rounder by some people, which is crazy because he's the same
Yeah.
player he was last year.
Yeah.
But
That is true.
we'll another winner is another guy that I know me and you have known about for a long time because he is the quarterback of what would you say your second favorite team is? And that
Oh
is
yeah,
Nico.
he was on my list too. Yep.
And he is, at least for my single player, he is easily the biggest winner player wise out of
Yeah.
any of the quarterbacks. I know some people would say, oh, I mean, Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. I'll talk about them later. Riley Leonard at Notre Dame had a really good game. Oh, Miller Moss. It's Nico in that offense with Josh Heupel looks so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
It looked, and I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but it looked like how Hendon Hooker ran the offense. And
Mm-hmm.
Hendon Hooker was doing that as a 6-year senior, and Nico's only
Yeah.
uh, a
He's a
true
freshman.
sophomore. Yeah,
Yeah, true
redshirt
sophomore.
freshman. So true
Yeah.
sophomore, redshirt freshman. And he had something like 3 touchdown passes, and he sat out the second half or the majority of the
Mm-hmm.
second half. So
Yeah.
Nico, big player winner. But I mentioned Riley Leonard. Sean, did you shout out Susan and Sandy, all the Texas A&M people. I got some Texas A&M people at my church in Livermore. But before we talk about them, my biggest team winner was the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah. No, they
Easily.
definitely. I thought that game was really good. It was. I didn't pay attention too much to it because it was post watching Boise State, which is
Mhm,
tough. Like this is kind of a side note here, but when I watch, I've noticed when Boise State, if it plays on Friday, if Boise State plays on Friday, or if we have a bye week, I
mhm.
can pay attention to college football way more. But when
Oh,
Boise State plays, I'm very like locked in, and I kind of watch highlights afterwards, and like I don't know, I pay attention to it a lot. But I want to go back on Nico really quick because I noticed that he just looked. I think we talked about this in the chat. I just feel like he looked like what Moonball Milton could have been, but he actually has an accurate ball.
yeah,
And
no, he's got a sling. He was doing it in
he
high
does.
school. Shout out Long Beach. Warren High was following
Mhm.
him when they were posted on the Max Preps highlights.
Yeah.
He is the arm talent there. And Tom Fernelli actually has called him what he thinks is the best quarterback in the country. And that was
Really?
before
Mm.
a snap of football was played. He thinks that Nico Yamileva, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right too. But
Yeah.
maybe it can be a DJU situation where you just call him Nico I.
Nico I,
But
yeah. Or just Nico.
Nico,
Nico,
yeah,
yeah.
Nico, yeah,
So
one of
hopefully it
those
doesn't
first
turn out like
names.
DJU, which we'll talk about later.
No,
But
oh, just wait. Like I said, I keep saying just wait. I know college football is awesome pessimistic. Just wait,
yeah,
and then we'll fire into
yeah.
pessimism.
My
But
my
yeah,
team that I had winning, um, I thought that did really well was Miami.
yep,
To
that was
go
my
into
second
Florida
team.
and do that is just, and you could argue maybe it's Florida sucking, but
Sunbelt
I mean,
Billy. Gotta
yeah.
love Sunbelt Billy,
Hmm.
who, as of the day of this recording, we're recording Wednesday to be released today, which all you guys are listening to on Friday. Billy Napier's now starting DJ Lagway, or
Oh,
DJ Langway,
yeah.
true freshman quarterback. Graham Mertz has a concussion. Look, I don't want. I'm not a tinfoil hat guy. M- That might be like a hey, yeah, you got a concussion, right? You got a concussion, right, Graham? And it's Sunbelt Billy's job rests on this gosh darn true freshman, but I don't know if much is
Yeah.
going to help. But Cam Ward if Cam Ward can look like that, because I mean we've watched him at Wazoo. West Coast people have watched him.
Mhm.
FCS people watched him at Incarnate Word or Incarnate
Yeah.
World, or is it Incarnate Word?
I think it's
Who
current.
knows?
I don't know.
Incarnate W. Man, we just outed ourselves as non-FCS ball knowledge. I watched the Big Sky, okay, everyone. I'm not watching FCS ball in Texas. I'm only
Yeah.
watching UC Davis. Shout out my guy Tim Plow. But
Tim.
damn yes. But Cam Ward, he looked like the guy who led Washington State to the victory over Oregon State at the beginning of last year. And consistency is what I have for Miami this season. Miami needs
Yeah.
a poster in front of everything they do, just as consistency. Cam
Mhm.
Ward needs to be consistent. Mario Cristobal needs to be consistent. The program of Miami needs to be consistent. How many times has Miami jumped out to a fast start just to
Yeah.
have 4 losses at the end of the year? That's the
That
thing.
is true. Yeah. Yeah, I think I think they played well. I mean, playing in the swamp is no walk in the park by any means. But another team I'm going to touch on is the Vandals, Idaho Vandals. I don't know if we've ever really talked, if you guys ever really talked about them besides maybe Jason Eck, but
We talked Jason Eck. We are a very pro Jason
yeah.
Eck podcast here. Um,
So
we
is the internet
we
now. They
oh,
saw his fiery
like I
passion,
said,
and I
I'm
love it.
a I'm a history. The internet was loving his he almost had like a thesaurus, like a Merriam-Webster dictionary of a
Yep.
playbook, and just
Yeah.
dialing everything up. But you have Idaho as your winners, even though they
Even
lost
though
the
they
game.
lost, but
Okay.
like to play a team like Oregon and did what they did, I think U of I are FCS brothers in the state. I want to see them jump to FBS. I think it'd be fun for us
Yeah,
too to
I
kind of
think
have
there's a lot
a
of teams like
rival. We
that.
lost BYU, really. We don't play them
Yeah,
anymore. So
it
yeah,
is.
it's
It is tough
unconventional
too.
win.
It's tough. I think there's a lot of schools like that in the Pacific Northwest, and it's tough because it's one of those schools where their football. I think it comes down to not football, like the team and the actual product
Yeah,
can be a Mountain West school. When you look at other things, their other sports, facilities, travel, especially.
yeah, no, totally.
Imagine if you are San Diego State or Fresno State, you gotta
True.
fly up there. Like you're
Yeah,
probably
that's
what
good.
flying into Spokane and driving, or I
Yeah,
hope maybe there's a private airport up there that you can fly into, and it's tough. It's really really
yeah,
tough. But no, I would love to see Idaho, and they did look good. Oregon, well, like I said, we'll touch on Oregon
yeah, yeah.
when we talk about Boise State, Oregon. We're still on a
Amusement. Yeah,
tease, but yeah, my last winner, just so all you sickos and pervs can get to the losers because you just want to hear hate
yeah,
spew. But my last team winner is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish getting that first win off the schedule. That's going to be their hardest game till they play USC. Could be one of only 1 or 2 ranked teams they play all year.
mhm.
And what I saw out of Marcus Freeman was that's a game that I think 2 years ago he loses.
Yeah,
Him in that game shows a sign of maturity. Riley Leonard, he didn't look great. I still think he's okay. Riley Leonard is a quarterback that I think can get you to the playoffs, but with that run game and that defense, that probably is going to have 6 or 7 guys drafted off of it next year, in my opinion.
yeah,
But that defense, that run game, if Riley Leonard can play 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, that's a 9 seed, 8 seed, 7 seed easily. Because
yeah,
now with that A&M win, Sean, they can lose to USC, probably still get in. And who
yeah,
knows? Maybe USC will blow it. USC, sorry, USC fans, not quite a winner. Sorry, you just missed a cut. But I will give
yeah.
you the shout out. Shout out USC. Great win over someone who I'll be talking about very soon. But Sean,
Yep.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish, what do you got to say?
So my mother went to USC. So I grew up watching the Trojans. I still have a place in my heart for them. So it's hard to really talk too much good about Notre Dame. I was raised to just not like them, but I think Marcus Freeman is doing a great job at what he's doing. And I think we're going to see him in the playoff. No doubt. I mean, obviously it's kind of tough for them with no conference that they're in to like solidify a bid, but I think
I
we're going to
think
see
it's
them in there for a lot of years, like many years in
It's
the
it's
future.
it's it's tough and easy in the way. It's really hard for them to get a high seed. Let's be
Mhm.
honest. It's going to be really,
Yeah.
really hard to get a high seed because that's going to be reserved A for the conference championship winners. B, fifth, 5, 6, 7 might be for like the conference championship runner-ups who are
Yeah.
Ohio State or Tennessee or Alabama or Georgia on the year that they lose that. That'll be the what that's reserved for. There's a path now, like you said, for Notre Dame to be in that 9,
Mhm.
10, 11 seed for a while. All they have to
Yeah.
do is win the big games. If they're a 2-loss team every year during Marcus Freeman's tenure, they have a 50-50 shot. If they're a
Yeah.
1-loss team, I would say they're a 95% lock of getting into
Yeah.
the playoffs, a one-loss Notre Dame. That is going to be the thing that's going to be interesting, and that's why I love the playoff, Sean. That's why
Yeah.
people complain. It's like, oh, the games aren't going to matter. Yeah, maybe you don't have those. I'll just come out and spoil it. Florida State losing these 2 games, super funny, by the way. But by the way, Sean, before actually, I'm gonna finish this next topic because the guy who was forced to eat, you know who you are, the guy on the internet who said you're gonna eat dog poop out of a
Yeah.
cup and never did. So
He
yeah,
deleted his
I
Twitter
think
too, which is just
yeah.
crazy.
So I think Notre Dame was one of my big winners. But let's talk losers now, Sean.
Hate.
Sean, there was a lot of losers
Yeah.
in week 1.
There really
A lot of
were.
losers, and everyone who loses thinks they're a loser in college football in week 1. A lot of overreaction. It is the most
Yes.
overreactive sport in the world, in my opinion. The most
Yep.
overreactive sport in terms of players, coaches, teams, wins, plays, especially with guys getting paid now. People want expectations and results sooner.
Mhm.
But one of the biggest losers has to be Florida State, more
Yep.
specifically DJU. More
Yeah.
specifically, the guy who said if they lost to Boston College, he would eat poop out of a Solo cup.
Yeah. Honestly, like Florida State after last year they beat LSU week 1, no? Right?
Yeah,
That's
they did.
correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So they come off a pretty decent season. What did they finish with last year? Do you remember?
Undefeated. They were undefeated. They just lost some key players at the end. They won the ACC.
See, stuff like that where I forgot about that. Oh my god, yeah. Just
Because they didn't make the playoffs. So like it sucks that
yeah.
like that year is almost forgotten because they don't make the playoff.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Holy crap, yeah. And now they're 0-2. And I saw a graphic someone posted. It was like Florida State is officially eliminated from the college football playoff.
The
I
I
don't
saw that
know
one
if there's
too.
any way they can come back. Is there
No,
any
there's
way?
no way.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the only way they can come back is they have to win the ACC
Yeah.
because even
True.
if they're a runner-up, they would be a 2-loss runner-up that has
Yeah.
2 really bad losses. And
Yeah.
actually, Sean, it's going to be hard for them to even make the ACC championship game. They just
That is
lost
true.
2 ACC games. They're 0-2
That
in
is true.
conference.
Yeah.
So they no longer even really control their own destiny in conference. And DJU, you
Ugh.
know, it's in years past, I would have been like, I feel for this guy, man. This guy busts his
Yeah.
ass. He's a last year college football man. You just want to see him succeed, especially someone who was anointed as one of the best. He was ranked ahead of C.J. Stroud, just
Yeah.
under Bryce Young, both NFL quarterbacks right now in high school rankings. But honestly, it's a part of the reason. I think it's a double-edged sword, a shadow of the transfer portal and NIL is
Yeah.
DJU moved around, then he moved around again. I see him in commercials online. He
Yeah.
driving a nice car. Is it tough to say I don't feel bad one bit for him? I really don't.
Yeah.
And he's a 6-year senior. I mean, I feel bad about like, look, if people are making really bad hate comments, yeah, that
Yeah.
I feel bad for. But I don't feel bad about him not playing. Get a job.
No.
Get
Yeah.
I could just
True.
hit. Yeah, needs to hit the portal. Him and Cam Rising, JP Morgan, transfer
Yeah.
portal to JP Morgan. They got a great NIL deal, aka just a signing bonus. Honestly, JP Morgan
Yeah.
University.
No, it's true. Yeah. I think he needs to DJU just honestly, like I remember his hype at Clemson. And I guess I kind of have this
Yeah.
question for you. Where do you think he really when did the fall off start? Was it freshman year? Was it right when he started playing college football or
No,
what?
I was I would say it's a development thing and a consistency thing. Because he had that 400, 300-yard game when Trevor Lawrence was out because of COVID versus
True.
Notre Dame.
That's
Exploded
true.
onto the scene. I think he's one of those guys that just hit his peak too early. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't really see him get better. I mean, I think you saw his college peak at Oregon State. Even the Oregon State guy, I mean, if he comes out in the draft last year, that's a 7th-round draft pick. And like
Yeah.
it
And
is
he's not.
that's DJU.
Yeah.
I mean, he can make every throw in practice. It's just it's not even the decision making. It's just the consistency. I mean,
Yep.
you see him in that Boston College game overthrowing guys in the end zone. You see him at
Yep.
Oregon State. He'll make a play, the exact same play a game later or 2 quarters later, he misses.
Yeah.
Exact same throw, exact same play, exact same defense. He'll miss the throw. It's straight up a consistency thing for him.
Yep.
Straight
He
up a
plays like me
consistent.
in college football 25. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
Picks, like just overthrow. Like you just,
overthrows.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
Yeah.
100%, 100p. Another loser I had. I mean, we already touched about Sunbelt Billy, so I'm not gonna actually talk about Sunbelt Billy because I don't even think he's a loser. He's already lost. So
Yeah.
he is not in our loser conversation because he is a dead man walking unless DJ Legway turns out to be Tim Tebow 2.0.
Mhm.
But one of my biggest losers, Sean, and I can't believe I'm saying it's a loser because it's a guy who people I don't think want to admit it, but is on the hot seat right now, and that's Brian Kelly at LSU. I
Mhm.
think,
Yep.
and it stinks because you could see the improvements he made. He
Yeah.
is a loser, not in the fact that I think he is a bad coach. He's a
Yeah.
loser the week one because LSU is starting to get fed up, whether fair or unfair. They're starting to get
Mhm.
fed up. 0-3
Yeah.
in week one, 3 years in a row. You
Yep.
lose another close game that seems to be all too common in the Brian Kelly era where it's like, man, one or two things got to go differently. And you just see an undisciplined football team at LSU. It's
Yeah.
just penalties, and that falls on the head coach. It
That
really
does. Yep.
does. It doesn't make it. It doesn't help that you are already a meme and your face gets posted all around the internet, and your video of you slamming the table saying, "I have to figure this out." We have to figure this out is used by burnerverse accounts tweeting me when the
Dude.
gas station attendant has no Zin. So look, all
Yeah.
of that stuff doesn't help.
Yeah.
But is it fair, Sean? I want to ask you the question: is he on the hot seat?
Yes, I think 100%. We should have asked resident LSU fan Ryan Uris what his thoughts are on Brian Kelly.
He had boots
But
on
I
the
mean,
ground in Vegas.
he
He
did.
had
He was
boots on the
there.
ground.
Got some videos of him sent to me where he just looked like, hopefully not us next week, but he just looked dejected. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I think to go 0-3 week one as Brian Kelly and how hyped he was coming in,
Yeah,
and honestly, I mean, I don't want to hate on LSU here, but they've been pretty mediocre since the Joe Burrow era. And even before that, it
I
wasn't
don't
really.
think that's hateful. I think that's a very fair statement. I
Yeah,
think, it,
I just know
like
how LSU
Caleb.
fans are, but
Yeah, no. I think LSU fans would say that. I think LSU fans would say they somewhat wasted a Heisman caliber year with Jaden Daniels
yeah,
last year,
mhm,
similarly to a Caleb Williams situation where you just can't figure out the defense, and the defense
yeah,
looked to be figured out. And the one thing I did, another thing I said, the one thing that really stuck out to me about Brian Kelly is that after the game he says, their quarterback outplayed our quarterback. And that's fair. Miller Moss played a little bit
yeah,
better than Garrett Nussmeier. But Garrett Nussmeier didn't play poorly at all. Garrett Nussmeier
no,
is not the reason y'all lost that game. The
yeah,
reason you lost the game is because you were inconsistent and undisciplined across
yeah,
the board. And that's the coaches too. That's not just a player problem, in my opinion. That is
yeah,
something that's coached and trained. So it's the old saying, you can be the ass as long as you're winning. In college
yeah,
football,
true,
you can be an ass. You can be the dictator of your own little
yep,
country in whatever college town you are in.
yeah,
You're in. But if you're losing, no one will listen. And then you're just the dick who's yelling. And
yeah,
you're just the dick who's yelling. And
yeah.
I'm
I think
afraid that's what Brian Kelly might become this year if he keeps losing. And at
yeah,
LSU, 3 losses is a lot.
it is, especially with this 12-team college football playoff. And I mean, realistically, I think we'll see maybe three SEC teams in the college football playoff. But
Hmm.
even then, like those spots are going to be um,
Hmm.
hard to come by, which is kind of leading into my loser, and that is the SEC versus non-shitty opponents, for lack of better terms.
The
Because
SEC,
yeah,
explain.
Florida
I think
against the SEC against
uh
non-shitty opponents, right?
that's for
You got
yeah.
Florida, you got LSU, you got Texas A&M that all lost. I know there's other ones too. I mean, you could say yes, some
But
of these teams won. Texas won against who? Colorado State.
I would say, yeah, no, it's fair. I just that is fair. I have to. this is where I guess we can get to I differ in a way. I think the SEC looked okay. I think Georgia beat the hell out of Clemson. So
That
that's
is
a
true.
top team versus a top
I
team.
forgot
And
about
you have
them.
Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech.
That is true.
I would
Okay.
I would say that the ACC is being overshadowed by a Miami team that looks like a top 5 team in the country. Because
That's fair.
VTech lost.
Yeah.
Florida State looks like they're a JV team.
Yeah.
NC State is struggling,
Yeah.
and they're a top 25 team. They could get absolutely exposed in one of my games of the week next week.
Mhm.
Like the ACC kind of looks iffy in my opinion more than the
Yeah.
SEC.
That's
Uh,
fair. I mean, I guess next week will be a bigger challenge. I think Texas playing Michigan. Um, that will
mhm.
be an interesting game. Um, I don't know. I think the biggest thing was that Big Ten versus SEC first matchup, really, I would say,
Mhm.
in USC versus LSU.
Yeah.
And granted, those aren't the powerhouses of those conferences, but I mean, they're pretty comparable, I guess you could say, with LSU and USC, just on the same wavelength of where they're at in their conference. Um,
Yeah.
Not the bottom, but not the top. But I just thought it was not very SEC like for A&M to lose
No,
to Notre Dame.
100%. No, and that and
I
and
forgot
that's
about
my
that
last
Georgia game.
that's my last big loser, Sean, is Texas A&M, but not really
Yeah,
Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M fans may view themselves as a loser in their own eyes.
yeah,
Think anyone I don't say anyone, I think most people with objective viewpoints would have told you A&M to the playoff, maybe a stretch, possibility, but maybe a
yeah,
stretch. I think the big loser in this is the A&M quarterback situation.
yeah,
Connor Weigman or Max Weigman. I forget his name, but it's Weigman. And
yeah,
I mean, another highly rated guy, 5-star coming out of high school. And it's just, if that's the best chance of Texas A&M winning, if he gives them the best chance at Texas A&M winning, that is bleak. That is a
yeah.
bleak future because Texas A&M,
That is.
they have the talent. I mean, so supposedly they have the talent. Supposedly, I mean, not supposedly. They got the money. They got the
Yeah,
support. And they have the coach, in my opinion. Mike Elko did great
yeah,
things at Duke with far less resources and
yeah,
far less fan support. So I
yeah.
mean,
And it is it's his first year, right?
at A&M it is. He
Yeah,
was looking
and
thick though. He needs a looser jacket. Did you see that? He was in one of those thin hoodies.
yep.
He
You need
I
to
I saw people on the
go up a
internet
size.
saying one of the quote tweets was he wasn't this big at last year, was he? And people were like, no, not a shot. Like
Oh no.
people were like that gumbo and Texas BBQ's got him eating good
Yeah,
down there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
gotta
No,
stay off them ribs, Mike Elko.
the one, I mean, I think for A&M, what's kind of interesting is like I feel like the last since like COVID, I feel like A&M's had this number one recruit class for the most part every year,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 years is it's time to start showing what that top recruiting
100%.
class is.
100%.
And I'll give them game one, new coach, whatever, but if they flop for the next 2 seasons, I don't even know what you do at that point. Like, there's
I'll tell you
really
what you do. You oh, if Mike Elko flops at Texas A&M, I'll say this: if Mike Elko flops, and that's like a complete, I would just say if Mike Elko does what Jimbo does,
Mhm.
Texas A&M is not the program they think they are, or anyone else thinks they are.
Yeah.
Because Texas A&M, it doesn't really have a history of. Oh my God! If they find this, they're gonna kill me. But doesn't have the history of winning that Texas A&M fans think they have.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry you
That
won
is
your
true.
national championships before the sport was integrated. So
Yeah.
please just take a deep breath. The only time you've been relevant is because of Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
This
And he
in
built
my
that house,
lifetime,
literally.
that's been the only time where it's been completely nationally relevant. Kellen Mond
Yeah.
had a couple good games, good seasons, but Johnny Manziel was the one. But Sean, do we have any more losers?
No, I think we touched on all of them. I had another one, just DJU, which we already kind of
DJU,
morphed
I mean,
together.
if there's
It's the
anything
biggest
that
one, I
anyone
think.
takes away, like if I was talking to someone who had just woken from 6 months coma, huge college football fan, hey, what's happening? I just say Florida State. That's would be the first words
That
that come
is,
out of my
yeah.
mouth is
Yeah.
that. But I
If
know. I
someone
see.
woke up from a coma, that's the first thing you'd say.
Yeah, yes. Well, he has to be a college football fan. He has to be a
Yeah,
college football
correct.
fan.
Yep.
But I had another loser, and I'm trying to get his name. And it's not like an actual loser. It's just my loser quote of the week. And it was the San Diego State running back. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Marquez Cooper.
Nope.
I don't know. He just said he was a better running back than Ashton Genty. He was the best
Oh,
in the
hell
conference.
no.
Yeah,
Get
and
out
you
of
know
here.
what? Look, if you want to do that, that's fine. I still, yeah, I want to differ. This is not a loser of the week because he actually had a really good
Just a
game, over
loser
200
comment.
yards rushing. Loser talk of the week. If there's a loser
Yeah.
talk of the week, that's
Loser
loser talk.
tweet.
Or maybe it's winner
Yeah.
talk.
Actually,
Maybe he's like
yeah.
a psycho like Michael Jordan. He just like has to like fake beefs to do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say
I,
loser tweet, but that guy pretending or saying that he would eat dog poop is
oh yeah, that guy.
definitely loser
Also
tweet.
he can't do anything on the internet until he eats dog poop.
Yeah.
Not even watch a YouTube video. He can't even
Nope.
watch this show. If you're
No.
watching this show,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to. So
No.
if you are the guy
Log
who's
out.
supposed to eat dog poop out of a cup, you are not allowed to watch
Nope.
Settle Down. Sean, am I allowed to say that?
Yep.
He is
Yeah.
banned from
No,
Settle Down.
he
Wow.
yes, he
This
is.
is
He
this
has
is
to
the first
unsubscribe or
listener.
resubscribe.
This
Yeah.
is the first listener that's ever. Is this the first banned listener in Settle Down history?
Yeah. It is
Yes,
actually.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
first.
So unless you eat the dog poop, and then we will.
Then you can come back.
If
You can come
if
on
you
the
don't even
show.
want to, you can come on the show. You can eat the dog poop. Maybe not on Sean's show because he doesn't want to get in trouble. But you can eat the dog poop on on our show, Zooch
Yeah.
and Wild. Um,
I don't think it'd be
you can do
relevant in
that.
the hockey podcast world, but
No, no, no. You
yeah.
would have a lot
You
of
guys fit.
Canucks fans going like, "What the
Yeah.
hell is this?" And you just have to go like, "Yeah, it's
America.
Tallahassee, man." It's just like
Yeah.
imagine some like Canadians who listen to like your show, just like, "What
Yeah.
the hell is this?" It's like really long story.
Yeah.
Our school football team lost to another school, so
We had to eat
oh
dog
well.
poop, and I deleted my
Yeah.
tweet. But
Yes, but yeah. So those are our winners and losers
yep.
of the previous week. Before we jump in to our games of the week and our meme matchup of the week, just want to give everyone a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel, follow us on
Yep.
Instagram, follow us on TikTok at
Ooh,
Settle Down
also,
Media. Follow Instagram, follow Sean's Instagram, Good Old Hockey Podcast, to
yep.
give him a thank you for filling in for Zooch today.
Yep.
Sean, anything else?
We also have our website up live,
That's
t-shirts
right.
available, merch available. If you use the code SettleDown20, all caps SettleDown20, you'll get 20% off of your order. Zooch and Wild t-shirts on there. We did personalization for really everyone has their own t-shirt, I guess you could say,
Yep.
for their fandom. Zach and Diego got a Cal one. And
Not my
Boise State
fandom.
one.
Sorry, no. I want to make that clear. Cal, that was a life that was forced upon me. Okay, no one wants to be a Cal fan.
No, but you're
Why do
still a Cal
why do
advocate.
I
You are a Cal advocate.
why do I watch Cal?
You know you are. You
I
enjoy Cal
know
football
I do.
more than anyone else in this podcast, I'll say.
No, I know.
But I also did there's also a
But
Boise State Zooch and
yeah,
Wild shirt too. So
yeah. No,
it's
the
mixed.
merch is
But
really cool, everyone. I
yep,
got the white Settle Down T-shirt with the light blue microphone. Really, really
yep.
sick.
Mhm.
So make sure you check that out and use the code. You get 20% off. What's the code again, Sean?
Settle down 20, all one word, all caps. And you'll
Settle
get
Down
20%
20,
off.
all one word,
So
all one
and
caps.
you have till this
Sweet.
weekend. Do it by Monday
You
night.
have till this weekend. That is right.
Yep.
So let's go to our games of the week. Let's look ahead to week 2,
Mhm.
Sean.
Let's do it.
There's a couple good games, not maybe as the powerhouse of week 1, but I feel
No.
like in years past there's been some week 2 duds, and I don't think this is a dud. So I'm going to bring up the first game that I think is probably the national game of the week, right, Sean? And that
Yep.
is what you
I
alluded
think
to earlier,
yep.
Michigan versus Texas. This is
Mhm.
a crazy matchup. It was 2 playoff teams last year, the national champion of last year, top 10 matchup. This is going to be awesome. I think where this game really differs is how these teams play. One has a quarterback who's a Heisman contender and a backup quarterback that could probably start at 90% of schools in the country right now.
Yeah.
The other team, the team up north, for those who don't know what I'm alluding to right now, the team who wears the maize and blue, went with a 2 QB system last week against Fresno and really struggled to move the football unless they were throwing the Cortland Loveland or
Yeah.
Colston Loveland.
Colson Loveland, Idaho boy. Yeah,
I
I
know, boy.
think this game is going to be obviously it's the talk of the town. I think game day is probably there. 10 a.m. game 2 on Saturday, which we will be up for in Eugene. getting ready to throw back some liquor and watch that game at 10 a.m. Or I guess
Yeah.
9 a.m. actually, because
9
it's
a.m. Yeah.
Pacific
Oh
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sean. Welcome to
I gotta
Pacific Life.
adjust.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're gonna have to
yeah,
adjust. It's a different start out here. West Coast college football fans. That's how I patented the iced coffee because it was
yeah. A
a
little too
little too
early.
early for beer. So you just get some coffee and a
Yeah.
small little breakfast for you, and then
Yep.
halftime of this for first game is when you start the
Crack
boozing.
that beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm excited for that game. I think, I mean, Arch Manning last week, to go back a little bit, that watching that drive was impressive for a
Mhm.
dude whose first snap of college football. Um, and granted, it was against Fresno, right?
Yeah.
Fresno State.
Fresno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they're gonna stick with Quinn Ewers. He's their solid
100%.
quarterback, and if they get ahead, which I don't know. Like, what do you realistically think is gonna happen in this game? If you have a prediction,
I think that like I said, the difference just comes down to quarterback play. I think
yeah,
the quarterback is, I mean, quarterback's the most important position in football. I think Michigan keeps it competitive right now, but I think Texas makes that cover late, if I'm being honest. I think they're a 7-point favorite right now.
yeah,
I could see this game being a close 10-point Texas win. I think Michigan could keep it close. I just think at some point the explosivity of Texas is just going to expose Michigan.
yeah,
I think Michigan, the way they keep that game is they muddy it up. That defense is still very talented. I just
it
don't
is.
think the offense has what it takes to expose the weaknesses that not freshman, that Texas has on defense. So I got
Yeah,
Texas in this game, and
yeah,
I know Zooch had some notes on this too that he sent me, and yeah, he's echoing the same thoughts. He thinks the defense is keeping it close for a bit for Michigan, but I think Texas ends up taking it. But one of my first games of the week, Sean, not not Texas or Michigan, a little more low key game, the Duke's Mayo Classic, Tennessee versus NC State,
Damn
which
you!
I
You took my
believe
other one.
it's okay.
It's all right
Well,
though.
it's
Yeah,
this is why it's great
yeah,
minds think alike, and these games are going to be good for a reason. This is a ranked
yeah.
versus ranked matchup. I know
No, it
I
is.
was surprised when I saw that. For some reason, I thought NC State was just outside the rankings, but no, they're 24, and I think this is going to be the Nico I coming out party
Yep,
for at least
I
for a
agree.
national audience.
Yes, I think last week the sickos like us watched him, and I mean, not like it's just us that like. I'm sure a lot of college football fans noticed him, but I think national media attention he is going to get a lot this year. I think Tennessee, I don't follow them as closely as I do Boise State, but they're looking dangerous. I think with the combination that they have at running back and Simpson, their wide receivers are good again as well, and then Nico I being who he is. Nico, I want to try to say it. Nico, I'm alive. I can't. Nico I.
No,
I'm
we're
just gonna keep it that.
Nico
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. That one is at 4:30, so that'll be before we head out to the
Oh
game.
no, Sean, I have that one at 12:30. Or
That
4:30
game?
Eastern time for our Eastern Zone fans. Or is it 4:30?
No, it
Man,
says I think it's
are we all over the place?
5:30 Mountain Time because I have it on the website here, and it's the first game's at 10 a.m. So
Maybe
I
I'm an
think it's
idiot. I think I'm just an idiot. This is why people you have to employ the strategy of just watching games all day because then you don't miss
yeah,
one. Then it's a
true.
surprise. Whichever one comes on,
Yep,
comes on.
whichever one
But
comes on.
I really like Tennessee. I
Yeah.
think Pierce, the edge rusher, he's a projected
Yes.
first round pick if he can play up to his
Hmm.
potential. A 10 sack 10 sack year last year for him, just
Yeah.
getting better. So I think Tennessee, they are sneaky good. I picked them to sneak into the playoffs for a reason. I
Yeah.
think Nico I lived up to his potential last week. Hopefully, that wasn't just
You got
his
to
top
keep it going.
performance, and he can continue
Yeah.
to be better. Oh, he has to be good, and that's how Josh
Yeah.
Heupel offenses are run. You saw
Yep.
when Hendon Hooker's there, they're playing in Orange Bowls and
Yeah.
they're winning New Year's Six Bowls and they're almost in national championships. When Moonball Milton is in, you're playing for a Cheez It Bowl. Not bad. Some teams would love to kill for the
Yeah.
Cheez It Bowl.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans don't. Tennessee
Yeah.
wants to be a national power, and they think Josh Heupel can
Yeah.
get them there, and I do too a little bit. I got a soft spot
Yeah.
for Josh Heupel because he looks like
I like him.
Bobby from King of the Hill.
He does. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Yeah. One of my other games that I think will be kind of interesting to watch is Colorado at Nebraska.
Oh, great game.
I think it's Colorado's getting a lot of hate. They always have these not always have, but these past 2 years have been getting hate mainly because of Sanders and the
Yeah,
Sanders family and just their their overall demeanor. But personally, I kind of like it. I think it's fun to watch. Um, I think some people, I think like one of my roommates here, I think that the Sanders family is living in his head rent free, and but I think Nebraska fans, I would say, are pretty hyped for this season, especially with their 5-star
I think they.
quarterback.
Yeah, I think I think they have every right to be happy.
Yeah.
They have a quarterback who, in my opinion, is like the first true quarterback they've probably had in 15 years, probably since the last
Mhm.
time they were good with Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
This Dylan Raiola guy, man, he is, and they spent the bag to get him, to flip him from Georgia too. He can say
Yeah.
all he wants about, oh, I'm coming back, for the legacy. No, he got outbid. He was
Yeah.
number one quarterback in the country. Now the knock on Raiola is, what are his mentals like? That's four different high
Mhm.
schools in 4 years. Everyone's
Mm.
seen that stat who's followed him.
Yeah.
Flips from Georgia to Nebraska late. Personally,
Yeah.
I think all of that doesn't matter because I think they got a great guy running the ship in Matt Rule. And it could not be two different coaches in this matchup, Sean. You have
Yeah.
Dion, who creates this hype for his program, and people want to hate
Mhm.
him or not. He grabs your attention, which puts
He does.
eyeballs, money into the
Yep.
program. Matt Rule is the complete opposite. He is the nothing about this is me. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell it
Yeah.
exactly like it is. He's the guy who has the quote that every old guy I watch college football with, yeah, the players are getting paid, uses, where it's a good QB cost $1 million in the portal. Everyone, like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many random 50-year-olds at dive bars where I watch these games go, it takes $1 million to play a good player. It's like, yes, I know. I've seen that
Yeah.
freaking quote card that you saw on Facebook 5 months after it was
Mhm.
actually said.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a great game. Sean, who do you have in this game before I say what I think is going to happen?
I think Colorado's going to pull it out. I think um, they've been getting a lot of hate and people wanting them to lose, and why they're like the Jake Paul of the
Yep.
college football world right now.
Hmm.
But I think they pulled out against Nebraska. I don't know that Nebraska is ready to be a less over 500 team really. Like I think they're gonna.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I just don't see it yet. I don't see it yet.
I mean, it's fair. I
So I mean,
mean,
I think this game will tell us though who's
yeah,
ahead.
I think Colorado's deficiencies, the um uh, the penalties, the
Yeah.
undisciplinedness is going to show versus a Nebraska team that is playing at home, and I think the wheels may come off for Colorado this game. The
Okay,
wheels almost came off for NDSU versus NDSU for
that
them,
is true.
and I think Matt Rule is the perfect coach for Nebraska. I really think
Yeah.
he is. I believe in Matt Rule. I've never believed in Nebraska, not even with Scott Frost. I believe in Matt Rule. I know what he can do. Saw
Mhm.
it happen at Baylor. I got Nebraska in this game. Sean, the last game I kind of want to talk about before we talk about BSU Oregon,
Our
which
game.
is
Yep.
again a nationally televised game, not a homer pick. It's on
Yeah.
Peacock, which is super super
That
funny.
is weird.
But
Well,
I
hopefully they
want to.
don't mess it up like ESPN.
Well, luckily
Won't
for
matter
us,
to
we don't
us,
have that
but
problem. Yeah.
yeah.
But I just want to quickly touch on this game, Sean, which was almost my meme matchup, but one of the teams was actually ranked, so I'm like, fuck, it might be a good game. And it's the Iowa rivalry, Iowa versus Iowa State. This
Ooh,
game is
those
just
games are always
funny
good.
every year. It's going to get
Yeah.
muddied, and I bring this up because Zooch has something he wanted to say about this game, Sean, and
Mhm.
he thinks that Iowa is going to hit 30 points, and I immediately reported him to the police for growing marijuana in his house because there is no way Iowa. That's a joke, you weirdos who don't know
Yes.
sarcasm. But I don't think Iowa's hitting 30, Sean. I
No.
mean, and this game's a pretty tight spread, but I think Iowa pulls this one out. But then again, it's 50-50. I seriously don't know what these games go either way, the Iowa State
Yeah.
games.
Any of those like rivalry games like that where it's interstate rivalry, there's no way of knowing. Vegas doesn't know shit, frankly. Um, and yeah, 30 points for Iowa.
Vegas doesn't know shit. We need to put that on a quote card when you or Cody has one of your bad days this fall, and it's just you with your hat like this, and doing the perch at Silly
Yeah,
Birch or whatever bar
yeah,
someone's at that has been
yeah.
done
We should put on a
across the
T-shirt.
nation. Yeah, Vegas don't
Yeah,
know shit. Hopefully that's not trademark. Hopefully one of the listeners doesn't trademark it. But hey,
yeah,
if you do, go for it. It's a great
yeah.
quote.
At least just give
But
us like $10 for offering that
yeah,
to you guys.
give
So
us
you
10
think
bucks.
of it.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, give us 10
yeah, I
bucks.
think Iowa. I don't even want to give a prediction because it's too hard. But I will say that I do not think that they're going to hit 30 points. But we could be wrong,
I
and
also,
Zooch could come at us and be like, "See, I told you." But I
well,
don't think it's going to happen.
that's the great thing.
Be
But
good to rest him.
I don't believe in Cade McNamara. Simple as that. The last game, Sean and I want to touch on. This was the main game. This was when we first were going to talk about games of the week. We were so excited. We actually get to talk about Boise State versus Oregon.
Mhm.
A top, what's probably going to be a top 7 team, 10, at least top 10 team in the country, depending on
Yeah,
where Oregon drops in the rankings, versus the what most people would say, or like half of the people would say. It's probably not most anymore. The
yeah,
Memphis train has gotten bigger, but
mhm.
probably half of the pundits say is going to make the playoff in the G5 is Boise State. So we got Boise State, Oregon, and neither of these teams played to their full potential in week one. But
Yeah,
both of these teams showed what they can do and the things that they are the best at. And
yeah,
that's Oregon, that is athleticism on defense, and it, Dylan Gabriel putting up gaudy stats. That O
yeah,
line looked very suspect in the finishing drives for Oregon, which has always been a Dan Lanning question mark. Can Dan Lanning win the big one? Can he win in clutch situations? That's always been their thing. Now on the
yeah,
flip side, Boise State, they showed exactly what they can do on offense. That O line is one of the most underrated in the country. I think there's going to be some guys drafted from that line that people don't know now, but are going to be NFL caliber players on that offensive line. And Ashton Genty did his thing. And those receivers that they got in the transfer portal, Cam Camper specifically,
mhm.
they did their thing, and that offense looked like a top 20 offense. And
It
I'm
did.
not going to sugarcoat this either, Sean. That defense looked like a junior college. It
Yeah,
really
it did.
did. I mean, minus the first
Yeah,
quarter. So minus the
yeah,
first quarter, the first
yeah,
quarter and the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, I will say they had those
yeah.
wrapped up. But the second and third quarter, Sean, that game was brutal. And
It was a hard watch. It was a lot of beer at that point, and it was just a lot of confusion too. I'm like, at one point we're losing the game, and I didn't really think that we were going to lose the game. I was like, I think we'll come out, but we should not be in this position at all, especially if we're playing Oregon next week. Now, I will say, and this goes for Oregon too, it was week one, and I'll give the benefit of the doubt. If it happens once, whatever. But the same thing with Oregon. I mean, they with University of Idaho, they only beat them by what, 10 points? 24-14.
yep, 10 points, and they were
So,
only up 7. And it was like a
yeah.
third down or fourth down that they had to convert that would have given Idaho the ball back with a chance to
Yeah.
tie the game, which would have been crazy.
Yeah. So it's not like either team had a great first week, so it's tough to really judge anything here, but I I will say before the season started, I was very pessimistic about this outcome, if that's the right word.
Hmm.
I was like, we're going to go down there and watch them kick our ass. After week one, though, I have a little bit more hope for Boise State. And I think that I told Cody this earlier. I have a boom or a doom score for this game for us.
Yes. Boom.
For our boom, I'm going to give us 56-42. No, 49. 56-49. But our doom would be 14-42. I think we'll get a couple good offense if it is a doom, but a boom would be a great shootout. And even if we have a shootout with this team and we lose, but it's a close
Yeah,
game, I'm not going to be
it
upset.
looks good
I'm
for the
really not.
playoffs.
It
It'll look
is.
good for the
Exactly.
playoffs. Now, Oregon, you on the flip side, I'll talk about Oregon's position coming into this game. They cannot afford a loss. I
Yeah.
know people want to be, oh, Boise State's better than people think. At the end of the day, people aren't going to see that. They're going to see an unranked G5 team you lost to when you were ranked third in the country to start the year. And
That's true.
Oregon cannot afford a loss. They
Yeah.
simply cannot do it. have built, and it'll just keep questioning Dan Lanning and Dylan Gabriel. And I can't stress this enough. It was so interesting, the box score versus if you actually watch that Oregon game.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel, 390 yards passing, only translate into 24 points. And it is funny because I feel like both Twitter fan bases, it's like they're talking about each other without having watched the other.
Yeah.
Like Oregon is like, oh man, you should have seen Ugalele. Like he was fire because they have DJU's brother on
Yeah.
Oregon,
Mhm.
Mateo Ugalele, really good defensive end. It's like, oh yeah, he's gonna kill him. We're gonna kill you guys. It's like you just see like what Ashton Genty just did, and then
Yeah.
on the Boise side, it's like, oh, the defense can get fixed up. Like we'll fix up our defense. It's like, hey, 1 week is a very short amount of time for
Yeah.
someone who is picked against someone who's picked to win not only a preseason Heisman, but someone who torched your ass 2 years ago. You remember when Dylan Gabriel, quarterback at
Couldn't-
UCF, when
Yeah.
UCF beat Boise State, and he
Yeah.
beat him the
No,
same way that the Georgia
Yeah.
Southern guy almost beat Boise, and that's hitting guys wide open with the bad secondary and scrambling on third down. And
Yeah.
that's what
It
should
is true.
scare the hell out of Boise State fans. You
Yeah.
give your boom and your doom score, Sean. Personally, I think it's going to fall somewhere in between. I think it'll be
Yeah.
close for a little bit. I do think Boise State loses by multiple scores. I think it's this weird, like we're not super pissed off and like demoralized because of the Washington game, but it's definitely not a, oh man, like we were right there, like season's still ours. Like there's going to be
Mhm.
some more question marks in this game.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where
I think
my
also,
head's at with this.
yeah. What was I gonna say? I think with Oregon. Oh, I remember. Okay. I am upset though that we're not going to be able to use, regardless of what happens, we're not going to be able to use the 0-3 meme anymore because that meme is so
Oh,
perfect with the Oregon O
yes,
and the
the
Boise
0-3
State B, the
meme.
B like cut off in a perfect 3. Like even if we win, if they're 0-4,
It
that meme,
literally is
how are you
like
gonna make it? You
that
can't.
that meme, that picture is like a 2000 like 9. It's the equivalent of a 2009 your mama joke. Like
Yes.
it's just a
Yes.
your comeback, your mom. Like
Yep.
you can say anything. Oregon can
Yeah.
say anything to Boise State, and a Boise State fan could just tweet that graphic.
0-3.
And
Yep.
maybe it doesn't win them the argument, but it is a right jab to deliver every
Yeah.
time.
And
And
it's nothing you can really come back from because they also don't have any national championships, so they can't flex that. And there's really, I mean, I think
they
even
have the Heisman winner. That's it. They have the
they
Heisman
do.
winner.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I mean, I think even if we lose, we still you can't do the 1-3 though. It doesn't fit. The only way is that 0-4, and I'm really hoping that we do it. We'll be boots on the ground. We'll be getting some video content too as well. So
Wait a minute, Sean.
what?
What is Maddox Madsen's number?
4. Oh,
Boom.
oh, boom,
Boom.
boom.
We have just created the new meme.
Yeah.
That is not copyrighted.
Hey,
Everyone.
we cannot say anything on Twitter. Like we have to make that tonight or whatever. We can make that edit and then just wait and pray that we win because then we can drop that on Twitter
Well,
and be the first ones.
that's like a 2% chance, but I love it. Yes, the 0-4 with Maddox Madsen. That's the new meme. Hopefully, we'll be dropping. And if you've listened to shows a listener, we thank you guys so much because you guys just got a sneak peek. That's the kind of riveting stuff you get when you listen. But Sean, it is my favorite time of the show. It is the end of the show. Not because this show's ending, because I love talking ball and appreciate you coming on, filling in for Zooch. But we have Sean. This is your very first meme matchup of the week. The very first meme matchup of the week. And Sean, do you have the same one that I have?
Yes, I think everyone. We've talked about it a lot, and that's mainly why. And this is Cal at Auburn.
Cal at Auburn.
The tweets, the Twitter, like just everything about it.
It has
so awesome,
to
but
stop.
it's bad. It's bad.
It's really bad. Sean, I saw a Cal fan tweet a picture of a fat guy in the mirror looking at a skinny guy, and the skinny guy in the mirror was Alabama, and the fat guy was Auburn. Saw immediately Auburn fans just calling Cal players putting socialist patches from
Yep. Did you
Soviet
see
Russia.
Did you
Yeah.
see the one
Oh
guy where
yeah.
he was like, "I'm looking for a pizza place in Auburn. Is there a place I can get
Yep.
broccoli on my pizza?"
Yep,
Just
there's
like
that.
stirring the
Also
pot.
saw the tweet where the guy's like looking for a bar in Auburn, Alabama, needs to be playing CNN instead of the football
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
preferably. Um,
Yep.
and the great part is, in the SEC Twitterverse, some people are smart enough. I would say most people are smart enough to pick
Yeah.
up on that's funny. That's someone making a joke.
Yeah.
Some people do not pick up on that, and
No.
they're going like, "Don't even think about coming to this state, pal." It's like, dude, relax. But no, it has to
No.
stop.
Yeah.
I've seen numerous AI generations. I've seen AI generations of eagles doing heinous things to Oski the bear. It is, yeah, it is just
Yeah.
for that reason, Twitter is the meme matchup, and it's also
Yeah.
it's gonna be a pretty good game. I think. I think these are
Yeah.
two
I think
pretty
so too.
evenly matched teams. I think Auburn has a slight edge, but also it's Hugh Freeze versus Justin Wilcox. Those
Yeah.
could not be more different. You have Hugh Freeze, prostitutes, giving the thumbs up in the hospital bed coaching for Liberty versus Justin Wilcox, who most people probably even forgot was the coach of Cal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's just Twitter alone makes this game the meme matchup. And did they play last year?
they did.
Same, just
I
flipped.
had boots on the
You were there.
ground. Yeah,
That's right.
it is even in Berkeley. It was just amazing seeing those two people interacting. I saw an old man at Auburn almost get into a Cal fight with a Cal fan after an Auburn touchdown. This old guy, and it was literally like it was out of a what's the word I'm looking for? Out of a stereotype book. It was
Mm.
old guy, larger, sunglasses with the thing attached around,
That's who I'm picturing. That's who I was picturing.
weather down hat,
Yep.
PFG Auburn shirt with a cane
Oh
versus
no.
the Cal guy, glasses, jeans, and like the striped rugby shirt.
Yep.
Yep, those
Yeah.
two guys were yelling at each other. Not joking either. No, the
No.
Auburn
Yeah.
fans. It
Was the
was
Auburn?
hilarious to
How
watch.
old was the Auburn fan?
Auburn fan probably in his early 60s. Cal fan probably in his late 30s.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty even.
pretty large age discrepancy on the
Yeah.
argument.
Yeah.
Everyone around them was super uncomfortable. Cal and Auburn
Yeah.
fans alike. But no, it's Zooch said it's going to be funny because it's the most liberal place on earth playing the most conservative place on earth.
Yeah.
Um, Look, make up your own judgments. That's going to be a funny interaction
Yeah.
of people down there at
Yeah. The
what is it?
bars.
Jordan Hare Stadium. Yeah.
Yep. The bars are going to be just. I. Part of me wish we could just fly down. I mean, I wouldn't want to miss Boise State, Oregon, but part of me does want to just fly down there and just witness that in Auburn. Obviously, you got the Cal perspective, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this week of football. I think we've got NFL coming
I'm
back as well, so
hmm
we'll have that mixed in as well as college football. I'm more
Yep.
excited for college football, but that's just me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on. Glad to
Yeah.
cover for Zooch. He's some deep work issues, which
Some work issues came up
yeah,
last minute. Yeah, life happens, but luckily, in the settle down world, many of us, probably the two main sports is hockey and college football, thankfully.
yeah,
So
yep,
in the NFL, but
yeah,
we got hockey and football, I guess I'll just say
yeah,
generally.
that's true.
So
Yeah,
it is nice to have Sean. Thank you again for coming
mhm,
on. Appreciate you filling in.
yeah, I'm
Everyone, look to
excited.
social media.
Weekend.
We are going to be
Yeah,
having some live pictures on our stories being posted from Eugene.
we should just go live one night and just on Instagram, like on the phone, like not on StreamYard, but like on the old school on the phone, just live stream it up.
We gotta be careful.
So
There might need to be a 10-second
yeah,
delay on that.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we need
yeah.
to be able to
Maybe we
cut the
just
feed.
post some Instagram stories. Yeah.
Yeah, call it good.
No. Yeah. No. Because there is going to be a keg. So who knows?
That's true.
But thank you guys for listening. Make sure to be checking this weekend for all of your settle down content in Eugene,
Mhm.
and enjoy the weekend. Thanks for
Yep.
listening, Sean. Anything else to say?
Nope. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. We'll see you next week.